Howdy y'all, I'm looking at the Sony Dream Machine clock radios again, but this time I want to see if I can add an auxiliary input to them. So it has a speaker in it, but it's only radio out. How easy is it going to be to provide it a headphone jack? Because I'd like to be able to hook things up, you know, iPods, media players, and just have a little speaker like that. So might as well get started. And to do that, well, I'm going to need to take it apart again. I remember this cable getting in the way all the time. This was one of the clock radios that I retro-brighted, still holding up pretty well. Well, here are the insides. Let's go ahead and disconnect the power from this. Oh, interesting. This is just the switch for the alarm volume, and this is the potentiometer for the volume. So what I'm going to need to do is solder a couple of wires to that potentiometer, and since it's all analog, it should be okay. And then I also have a resistor so I can turn the stereo into mono. But now I need to figure out the pinouts of this particular TRS jack. First, let's get the soldering stuff set up. Well, now I need to do a little bit of pin searching, figure out what goes where. Here we go. This one says ground. Looks like it's that one. So if I go and I turn this here, this is volume control. The potentiometer is restricting the amount of current going through it. So for one I can tell, this one's ground, this one should be 5 volt, and this one should be input. So I'll solder a wire to ground and 2 wires to input. Now comes the part where I have to solder this on. Before I go and try to reassemble everything, might as well check to see if this thing works. We'll be using this bootleg iPod shuffle as a potential sacrifice in case I accidentally wired anything wrong. Now I have a feeling I'm still going to probably hear the radio, so I might need to just cut that trace. Looks like I haven't hooked it up correctly. So that makes me wonder if I actually hooked it up to the 5 volt line, not the ground. That's probably what I did. Let's try it again, but this time let's connect these wires to this point instead of this point. Okay, attempt number 2. I'm going to disconnect the antenna and take out the trace from it. Antenna has been removed. Well, this isn't working as I intended it, but I have a new plan. So this particular clock radio has a switch that goes from FM to AM. So if I can't just put it on the potentiometer, and if it's going to still have the radio signal, how would I just hijack one of the traces that one of these other ones are on? So I looked up this particular Sony integrated chip, and I found the schematics for it, and determined that pin 9 outputs the AM audio. So let me just move some of this stuff around here real quick so we can get it back on the soldering stand. So on the underside here, this is the Sony integrated chip. And I need to figure out which pins I have. Well, pins 1, 2, 29, and 30 all are ground. So if I put my multimeter in continuity mode and take my negative and put it on a ground point, and then tap one of these top ones, I now know which side is where. The one that I want is right here, and it goes to right here. So my plan is to just cut this trace right here, and then solder this wire directly to this point. But first what I want to do is just cut this trace and see if I just power it on and I switch it to AM, if just nothing comes out. Just take this craft knife and just start cutting the trace. Looks like it has been successfully cut, so let's swap this over to AM mode and see if we get any sound output. FM. Still getting something out of the AM. And now I'm curious if I try tuning this, what happens. Okay, we still got radio. So what did I cut? Evidently it didn't destroy the thing, so that's good. But now I need to figure out which pin is it that handles the audio output. Well, after further review, I think pin 9 actually is a regulator output, so I might have screwed up some of the regulations. I'm gonna need to recreate that trace, and I think the actual one for AM and FM output is this one down here. There's a jumper right here that connects directly to there. So let me just desolder this jumper, and then maybe that'll do what I need to do. And jumper removed. Now that should have removed any trace of being able to use the FM or AM signal. Now I just can't switch from AM to FM. All right, let me look at this pin out again. What's the next thing I should poke at? Oh wait, did I remove the band select instead of I think I removed band select instead of removing the actual demodulated signal out. Oh wait, nope, I totally did remove band select. So that means 9 actually is 22, and I don't know what 22 was. AFC, AG, okay, well I guess I didn't need it. Dang it, I've been going through this upside down the entire time. So yeah, this one was for the band select, and this is actually the one I want to remove. Well, time to figure out where you go. Well, now to cut this trace off, and then it's a tiny trace. Man, why couldn't that one have been the actual one that I wanted instead of band select? You know, this is why I'm doing it on this instead of the one I actually want to do on. I'm learning. I might just be better desoldering this leg here and just lifting out the pin instead of trying to cut the trace, so let's just do that. The pin has been removed. Now there should be no demodulated signal going out to this anymore. Yep, no demodulated signal, only static. Gonna wire these two together. together. Because I'm getting tired of, I'm gonna solder 2 wires on there. So let's see here. We're gonna take this blue one, and we're gonna take this blue one and put it where we just got rid of that other thing. And just for good measure, let's just solder this to the ground, one of these ground ports. Hopefully that is all we need. Oh, it's really trying. It's almost there. Like, it needs some cleaning, but I can hear the audio going through. I figured it out. So after a lot of trial and error, I figured out what needs to be soldered where. First though, I should probably go over some of the failed attempts. Initially I tried the potentiometer, but it wasn't working well with the radio. So then I thought, well, I'll just remove the radio, I'm not gonna use it. So I desoldered this jumper right here, which is I thought what the radio would go out to. Turns out I just removed the band selector. Oops. Anyway, okay, didn't need that. Then I realized I was looking at the chip upside down the entire time. So what I actually wanted to desolder was right here. So I went and I desoldered there, and I ripped up the leg that's right there. I originally soldered this blue wire right there, but I was getting a lot of static and it wasn't exactly working out for me. So instead of just looking up the pinout of this particular integrated chip, I went and I found the service manual for this entire clock radio. And while scouring that, I found the internal wire diagram of the integrated chip and found that directly connected to the speaker was something called AF out. So AF out goes to the speaker. Comes out of AF out, it is amplified. So I needed to find a place where it takes in an audio signal pre-amplified. And with the block diagram, I found it. And it is pin 6. Count it down, wire that to there. Now I have my blue wire, which is soldered to this red and green wire, which is soldered to this resistor, which goes to one of the pins, and this other wire, which goes there, which will force a mono output. Oh, and I also just, put ground to ground. I know it's a dedicated ground point, so that works. And now this is successful, so let me hook it up. We're gonna celebrate with some mini disc music. I'm basically just bypassing the entire radio. Oh yeah, and also the volume still works on this. So if I just go to the potentiometer down here and just twist this, so this just works now as a speaker. So if you're wanting to do this for yourself, just, and you don't care about the radio, just bypass the radio, go straight into the amp, and boom, you're good. But now I need to figure out how to get this all back together and in a way that looks kind of good. Plus I need to get this installed somehow. And with that, it should be reassembled. It's pretty unassuming. I just have this auxiliary in coming out of it. Well, let's see if I absolutely ruined it while trying to reassemble it. As you can see, the volume wheel still works too. I guess I could 3D print like a little thing so it doesn't look as jank here, but for now, this was just a proof of concept, and the concept has been proven. Oh, I can turn it off in the meantime too. But that's cool. Yeah, you could just take any kind of audio input and just push it through the amp and boom, you got yourself a speaker. I have an idea of some other stuff I want to do in the future with some things like these. Maybe I'll try to be a little bit more fancy, but I think I'm satisfied with where I've left it for now. That'll be it for now though. So long, y'all.